Can one man survive winter, completely alone, deep in the forest? No electricity, no machines, no help. Just his hands, his dogs, and whatever the land is willing to give. This is Bogdan, and he's about to build something most people wouldn't even attempt. A full off-grid homestead from scratch.
But this isn't just about building a shelter. It's about building something that lasts. A stone cabin designed to trap heat, resist storms, and survive brutal winters. And he only has 1 month before the rains arrive. One wrong decision, and everything could collapse. So the first move matters more than anything else: where to build. Bogdan doesn't choose the valley floor. That would be a mistake. When snow melts, water flows downhill, and low ground turns into a swamp. Instead, he picks a sloped hillside, dry, stable, strategic, because building on soft forest soil is like building on a sponge. If he gets this wrong, the entire cabin will sink and crack. So before anything else, he digs, down past the roots, down past the soft earth, until he reaches solid ground. Now the real work begins. He needs stone, a lot of it, not 10, not 50, around 800 stones, hauled entirely by hand. Each one dragged, lifted, placed with purpose. Because this isn't just a shelter, it's the foundation of an entire future homestead. But stone alone isn't enough. He needs something to bind it all together. Bogdan creates mortar the old way. He digs a pit, filters fine soil through a handmade screen, removes every impurity. Mixed with water, it becomes natural cement. Strong, simple, reliable. The largest stones go first, forming the base. At the corners, he selects flat, squared rocks, turning weak points into pillars. Then comes a small but critical detail. He brushes away excess mortar, because trapped moisture can slowly destroy the walls. Every move is calculated, because out here, mistakes don't forgive. But as the walls rise, so does the challenge. Some stones weigh over 700 pounds, too heavy to lift. So Bogdan builds something unexpected, a primitive crane, using trees as a frame, a flexible green pole as a boom, and a counterweight of rocks. He turns raw physics into power. Now he can lift, lower, and place massive stones with control, not through strength, but through ingenuity. But what makes this cabin special is what's inside the walls. A traditional heating system called the petch. Instead of letting heat escape straight up the chimney, it forces it through a horizontal channel first. The stone absorbs the heat, stores it, and releases it slowly for hours. Bogdan builds this thermal core carefully, fire on one end, chimney on the other, and above it, his bed. So every fire doesn't just warm the room, it warms where he sleeps. But a solid stone cabin has one problem: darkness. So he creates an arched window. Instead of building it from stone, he finds a naturally curved tree. This is called compass timber. Stronger, faster, smarter. For the doorway, he uses mortise and tenon joints, wood locking into wood, no nails. Because in this damp forest, metal rusts and weakens everything over time. Every cut, every joint is done by hand. Now comes the race against time. The rainy season is close. Bogdan builds the roof in layers. First, wooden poles, locked together with wooden pegs. Then insulation, dry grass trapping warm air. Then mud, sealing everything together. And finally, living soil and grass on top. A roof that breathes, insulates, and blends into the forest itself. But before it's finished, the rain hits. Work stops. He waits, inside a half-built shelter, hoping everything holds. When the storm passes, the cabin stands. Dry, strong, alive. Now it becomes more than shelter. A stone floor replaces mud. A fireproof kitchen takes shape. Windows seal out the cold. A door finally closes. Outside, food begins to grow. Inside, warmth begins to stay. What started as raw wilderness is now a working homestead, built by one man, one decision at a time. And in the silence of the forest, he didn't just build a cabin, he built a life. But surviving out here isn't just about building.
That first night inside the cabin, it's not peaceful. It's quiet. Too quiet. Every sound carries. Wind through trees, branches snapping in the dark. And with no artificial light, the forest feels alive in a different way. Bogdan keeps the fire going, not just for warmth, but for security. Because out here, he's not alone. Morning comes early. There are no alarms here, just sunlight and responsibility. Every day starts the same way: fire, water, food. The fire must be restarted, water must be carried from the creek, and food has to be grown, gathered, or hunted. There's no skipping a day, because one missed task can turn into a real problem. This is the part most people don't see. Building is hard, but maintaining life out here is even harder. But here's the surprising part. This kind of life works. The stone cabin holds heat through the night. The roof keeps out the rain. The ventilation prevents moisture buildup. Everything he built solves a real problem. Not perfectly, but effectively. And that's the difference. This isn't about comfort. It's about function. Every piece of the homestead has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is extra. Something else begins to change too. Time slows down. There are no notifications, no scrolling, no constant noise. Just work and silence. And in that silence, clarity. Out here, survival strips life down to what actually matters. Shelter, warmth, food, rest. Everything else disappears. Bogdan didn't just build a cabin. He proved something most people never test, that with enough time, skill, and resilience, one person can create everything they need from almost nothing. No shortcuts, no machines, just effort. And in the end, that might be the most valuable thing he built. Just long days of physical work, and even longer nights of silence. For some people, that silence is peaceful. For others, it's unbearable. This kind of life demands more than skill. It demands mental endurance. And that's what makes this story different. This isn't just about building a cabin. It's about proving something real. That comfort is built. That independence is earned. And that the modern world has made us forget what we're actually capable of. Bogdan came into the forest with nothing. No power, no shortcuts. And step by step, he built everything.